Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to Rock Bottom Podcast with Ray DeVito, formerly known as the G Hole Podcast. And yeah, man, finishing up my time here in New York City. Headed DC for a little bit, and then the next week I'm in Dayton and Cincinnati. Those all the dates are on my website. If you're in Dayton or Cincinnati, want to go see me, raydevito.net. And yeah, I have Josh Adam Meyers, very funny comic, you know, from Comedy Central, comedy rock and roll show at the Cellar. He's got a special coming up on Netflix through All Things Comedy. He's fantastic, man. Follow him at Josh Myers on all things social media. And yeah, those you guys have been in and been in town. If you're in New York City, I did my taping. It was great. Leaving, burning, crushed. It was awesome time. We'll see what goes on with that footage, but yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It was great. A lot of stuff going on my Patreon, patreon.com/Ray DeVito. Yeah, a bunch of stuff on there. Yeah, subscribe to. I'm not even gonna talk about some of this stuff that's why it's on the Patreon. But yeah, this is all Josh Adam Meyers and I just hanging out talking about everything. Like he started out in DC and like going to LA and his background with music, and just a cool dude too. Very funny dude, very cool dude. And yeah, big fan of the guy. He's hilarious. Silk City Hot Sauce, check them out, silkcityhotsauce.com. Put in G-Hole, save 15% on everything. And yeah, what else? Thank you for to Helium Networks. I still have no idea what you guys do, but thank you for putting me on whatever that's on. You guys are fantastic. Now give me some bookings, please. Now give me some bookings. We're best friends. But no, man, you guys are awesome. And enjoy this episode. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace. There we go. We're going. I might do a little intro, but in case this is Rock Bottom Podcast with Ray DeVito, formerly the G Hole. Sitting here with Josh Adam Meyers. What's up, buddy? How are you, man?
Good. Welcome to my home.
This is awesome, man. I love it. I lived in a 3-story walk-up for years in Astoria, and I like the walk-ups because it keeps it just keeps like
Keeps your butt tight.
Yeah.
Keeps you being active. But if I tear a ligament, I'm not leaving. Postmates all day, playa.
Well, it keeps everyone young too, or like at least mobile in your apartment building.
Yeah, I look, it wasn't my first choice to get a 5th floor walk up, but you know, it's look, I've always been a guy that's like, take the stairs. Somebody told me that's what keeps you young. You know, you're at the airport and you see everybody get on the escalator, or you're going on the subway and everybody's taking the escalator. Always take the stairs. Like, if you can take the stairs, take the stairs. It's a small thing you can do to like stay healthy. You know?
No, you exercise all the time anyways, man.
Well, I'm a drug addict, so I can't do the drugs that I want to do. So I tend to work out.
You say that, like, the only thing I know you smoke weed. I know that a lot of people smoke weed. I didn't age well with weed.
Get a little boodle.
Yeah, right on the point. And by the way, in case I don't do an intro, silkcityhotsauce.com. Check them out. Put in G-Hole, save 15%. I just wanted to say that in case I don't do an intro.
Is that your main sponsor?
Yeah.
Hot sauce.
And then Helium Podcast Network. Woo.
Rachel, I love you. The Philly Helium.
There you go.
I love her. I love Rachel. Well, she used to be jacked. I think she still is in good shape, but she used to compete.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude. She was like right before the pandemic, she was like fucking yoked.
What's your exercise? I'm a runner.
I do
run, and I do some weights, a lot of pull-ups and push-ups type weights.
So body weight's great. I tend to do a lot of Olympic weightlifting, so I do a lot of clean and jerks and deadlifts and snatches. That's my four. My form
tendonitis in the knees. It hurts so bad if I do legs right there.
You're all upper body, dude.
No, but I run 4 miles a day. Here's another thing, man. People would always say like weight training with your legs. That's what you do. But I played basketball. I see someone with big, I can go right by him.
Yeah, I'm not
like, you don't have that lateral quickness if you have like giant thighs. I've like, whenever I say do with like yes, you can jump up and down higher, but as far as like going east to west.
Yeah, I don't have health insurance, so I don't play organized sports. So
Wait a minute, you really don't have health
I
insurance?
don't. I should get it.
You should
I
just
should
for
get it just to get my butthole looked at. I'm a white man in his 40s, Jewish white man in his 40s. So I've got the roids.
dude. Wait a minute, you seriously don't have health insurance?
I don't.
So for the littlest thing,
My dog does.
Your dog has.
Lecca has health insurance.
Your dog has people in.
She's the full wellness plan.
You can go to your vet and be like, yeah, my dog has a sinus infection. Can you just be a little careful of that, because that thing comes out pretty easily. That camera thing.
I just never. I had it. I had Obamacare for a while, and then when it got canceled because of, I guess, you have to renew it every 4 years. I just never renewed it, and I never get sick. Knock on wood.
Nah, dude, you have to have it. All right, stop. Come on, you got to get it, man.
Eventually, yeah, I will. I just, dude, I'm just getting the rest of my life organized.
And what brought you to the East Coast? Because did you start on where are you from originally?
I was born 20 minutes north of Washington, D.C. in Germantown, Maryland, Montgomery County, Maryland. For most people would know it by that. It's the suburbs of DC, and I started comedy at a club in Northern Virginia in Tyson's Corner called Wiseacres.
I've done it.
Have you?
I've done it. Yeah, it's one of the clubs where I would start out. Like when you first started going on the road, like you just meet a headliner from, like, I started in Cleveland, and they're like, they just want to take you with them because you have a car, because you can drive. So yeah, because of that. Shout out to Kerry White and Mike Veneman. I think they both might have passed away. But yeah, they were good guys. But yeah, they would just take me on the road with them. So that's one of the first clubs ever.
I think I did 2 open mics, and then I didn't do it again for another like year and a half or 2 years. So I moved to Los Angeles August 1st, 2007, and the point was always to do stand-up comedy, but immediately I got roped into doing like production work. So I was working on a bunch of reality television shows, one of them being Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
You go.
I worked on that for 2 seasons.
Did you keep up with them? You couldn't keep up with them. They kept going. It was like, turns out they just sit around their house.
They kept going. They didn't keep up. I couldn't keep up with them at all, because I mean, I left after the second season, but after that first season, they blew up so big. Like that first season, nobody knew who they were, and we would go all around Los Angeles, and people were like, I don't know, who are these hot chicks? And then the second season, it was like everywhere. I mean, even the budget of the show went from like nothing first season to suddenly we're traveling around. We went to Mexico and Breckenridge, New Orleans, and like our craft service budget got bigger, so I could get more granola bars.
They actually nice people, the Kardashians.
I always say this. Chris is a cunt. Courtney, a tad bitchy. Kim, very shy. Chloe, awesome.
Very shy. Have you seen her post online?
She's not still, I think she's still like, if she's being interviewed on a television show, I think she's like, a little bit more open. But
I was at the Prince concert at MSG, like right before he passed away, where he kicked her off stage for not dancing.
Really?
Yeah, he had other celebrities on there, like Chris Rock was there. Maybe Ellen DeGeneres. Everyone's dancing to Prince songs. It's like 7 celebrities, and she went and danced, and he kicked her off. And I didn't know that was her until I saw that's back when the New York Post was still like a magazine, or still like a newspaper. And I thought it was Eva Longoria, and I was like, wow, Eva Longoria got fat, and it was Kim Kardashian.
She was fine. She got a lot of work done compared to how she was when I was with her. But
I don't like those lips. There's no reason to get lips that big. They look silly.
Weird. Yeah, but that's the thing, man. That's the thing.
Who says it's a thing?
Everybody's doing,
there's no way that they like it. I don't get women with giant earrings. Like that can't be comfortable for them. I'm saying for them.
Dude, you're gonna have a hard time meeting a woman, bro. It's like, we'd go on a second date, but those yo-yo sized earrings, you look like, are you in the terror squad?
No, I'm just saying it just doesn't look comfortable.
I mean,
do you get what I'm saying?
Do high heels look comfortable?
What's that?
Do high heels look comfortable?
No, exactly. I don't get why they wear those. Like,
because
It
it's
looks like you're on
attractive.
stilts.
It's attractive, just like
I'm fine with the. I mean, they can wear them if they like them. They can wear them. I'm happy. I'm just happy she showed up. But I'm just saying that wouldn't be comfortable. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think a lot of the things in beauty are made for comfort. I mean, I remember going to a nightclub when I was, 18, 19 years old in Washington, D.C. in February when it was, 20 degrees outside on at 2 a.m. on a Friday night. And the line to get into the nightclub was just girls wearing, their bare midriff exposed, short shorts. Like you put up with pain for beauty. I think that's like an expression. There's no there's pain and beauty or whatever it is. But I worked on that show for 2 seasons, and then I got another job, but I had already started kind of mixing in to start going to open mics a little bit. And then August 1st, 2008, I went to the Comedy Store. And I had already been going there for a few weeks, but I was like, this is what I know for a fact now. This is what I'm doing the rest of my life. And so I always say August 1st, 2008. And then I've pretty much done it almost every day since. But it's weird because I really wish I would have started it in Washington, D.C. because there was so much opportunity. Like as I've gotten older and gotten deeper into the stand-up world, I've talked to so many people like Andy Haynes, Brendan Wardell, Nick Mullen, Rel Battle. These are all DC guys that started in DC and then moved out. And DC has such a great comedy scene. They arguably have the best improv in the whole chain with DC Improv,
Reese Waters, when I think of DC comedy.
Speaking of which, June 24th, June 25th, I'm headlining the DC Improv, and June 27th, I'm doing a goddamn comedy jam at the 930 Club, which is arguably the best rock club in the world. For me, it's one of the most important because I had seen, hundreds of bands there. And so to be able to go there and perform is like, I mean, we've almost sold it out already. So I'm like, it's going to be a magical weekend for me.
Hell yeah, man. Now, how'd you get into because I haven't seen the comedy music jam. I've seen clips of it. How'd you start that up? That's like you combine music and like I've seen your act. You kind of like rock out while you do comedy.
Yeah. Well, that is an extension now of, because you asked me why I came to the East Coast, and I'll summarize that and I'll get to the jam. I came to the East Coast because, I had been in LA for 13 and a half years. And you reach a ceiling of the amount of shows and the good shows that you can do.
Right.
And I had gotten there and I was too good to be stuck where I was. And all of my friends, my real friends, but I have like a handful in LA, like Avery Pearson, Ryan Sickler, Justine Marino. Shout out to them. I love you. I'll call you guys as soon as I'm done with this. But I have like real blood, like family with like Big J and Soder and Sal and all those guys. And I just said, I don't think I need to be here anymore. I've done enough. I can always go back, which I do. I go back once a month for shows. And I was just like, I want to go out and grow because you can grow out here. There's enough shows.
Yeah.
Even on a bad week here, I'm still doing more club shows than I would have done in LA. And, it's great. And so and that was the thing, is that I wanted to figure out what my thing is, because we're always changing. It's rare that you're able to start, and the way you start your stand-up is how you're going to be. It's your voice. It's your clear cut. Like I've only seen a couple comics like that. Like, which I always get indigestion the second I start podcasting. I don't know if that's a thing for everybody.
No.
But I haven't taken my Prevacid this morning. So
you do you, man.
So I started with 2 guys that were that had a voice immediately. Gerard Carmichael, who's grown on to do many great things. And then my best friend, Angelo Bowers, who passed away in 2012. And Angelo was it was just like, man, he had the way that he was the way that he was. And it was perfect. And it was right from the beginning. Set up, punchline, genius reference, whatever the fuck. And so I had to figure it out. And I had moments those first, year or even couple years that that I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but it was fleeting and it was only moments. And Angelo said to me, because this will take us to the second question that you asked, which is the jam started at this. So I'm about like a month into stand up in Los Angeles, and Sarah Tiana and Laura Valdivia ran a show every Sunday night at this theater called the Unknown Theater. It's in the Theater District and on Santa Monica, and I would go there because that was where my group would hang out. The Comedy Store had the potluck. We would all try to get up at the potluck. We couldn't, so we went over to the Unknown because Sarah would put Angelo up and Gerard up, and sometimes me. Because I was very underdeveloped and very raw. And the show would be great. You know, you'd have like big names drop in at the time, like Brett Ernst, Chris Porter, Sam Tripoli.
Chris Porter, I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Porter Rules. Yeah, just like a lot of, you know, and Burr would come by and Gaffigan, and if they was in town, and Neil Brennan a lot. But after the show, the owner of the theater was this very eccentric playwright and set designer, and you know, he loved the idea of a happening, which is like, just, this is a thing that's being created right here, right now, that's going on nowhere else in the world. And he would pull out all these musical instruments. He had drums, he had amps, and you know, J. Chris Newberg had his guitar, so I'd be like, hey, can I use that? And we start jamming. And eventually,
Detroit.
it would become this thing, because it was $5 all the beer you could drink. It become basically a speakeasy. Swartzen would be up in the corner, fucking, you know, drinking and hanging with his date, and all the comics would be smoking pot, and then a few of us would be on stage jamming. And it just evolved into this thing where I noticed how many comics really loved playing music. And then Laura and Sarah dropped the show in 2010, and me and two other dudes took it over. And I had met a band that used to hang out at the Unknown Theater called Elemento P. It's got Nick Liberatore on drums and Joel Rotowski on guitar, and they were very talented, very underappreciated, and I just really vibed with them. So I invited them to be the house band for my show, and we started playing around. And we'd open the show with a song, and I'd do some stand-up, but the song always did better than my stand-up.
What was the song? The original song, or just a cover song?
It would be a mixture of, you know, we'd play like Man in the Box by Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
And then
what happened to them, by the way?
Alice in Chains.
They're still around.
Still touring.
Oh, they're still. I gotta go
see them. Lane Stanley died in 2002, the lead singer. And I think they picked up a new singer that sounds very similar to them. It was, you know, a lot of the grunge bands. I mean, 3 of the major grunge band singers are all gone now.
Yeah, same thing with STP. I remember what happened to them. And
I didn't even think about Scott, and that was my favorite band.
Yeah, I just he died. He's committed suicide. Someone said.
No, he died on. It was fentanyl.
It's fentanyl.
It was drugs. Right. Him, Chris Cornell's suicide. Lane Stanley is heroin. And then Kurt Cobain is murdered by Courtney Love.
Oh, you think so?
I just did my podcast episode about MTV Unplugged
I don't know,
episode.
because
there's Mike Feeney is a huge Nirvana fan, and he came on.
He's been on this podcast,
and we talked about the whole album and the making of it and this and that, and he just knows so much about Nirvana, and he brought up some really good points. He's like, and if that stuff is true, that, you know, that he killed himself with the doors locked from the outside, like, there's all of these little things that you're like, I mean, did he? But who knows? It's speculation.
But I mean, her career went right in the shitter.
No, it didn't. What are you talking about? She had an album, the California whatever album, that was huge after that. And also, don't forget, Hole, Live Through This was a big album.
And it came after his death.
Yeah.
All right, then I got my times mixed up, because I assumed he was writing all those songs. Do you think she just took his songs?
No,
not
at all.
Because those are
I listened to Live Through This. We did it on my podcast. Oh, she got a blankie. No. Dude, look at this shit. You want to see something funny? Here, hold this.
All right. What's the dog's name?
Lecca. You put the mic towards my mouth. So my dog eats blankets. This is probably the 5th blanket she's eaten, and every hole means she's eaten and swallowed. and pooped it out.
There you go. A lot of people listen to this on audio, but it's like it's
Well, for the people.
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I look, I mean, who knows if she killed him or anything. I mean, that's not what we're
So
on the
you
podcast to
think
talk
that that's
about.
like you think that it's a possibility?
Dude,
It's on the
Jamal
table.
Khashoggi was killed by the Saudi government, and our president says, I will never work with them. And now gas prices are so high. He's like, fuck that dude. let's get some of your gas, bro. So who knows, man? Who knows in this world what's gonna happen?
So all right, because I know your podcast, you do the 500 the 500 top albums of all time for Rolling Stone. Give me your top 5 albums of all time. Who do you got? By the way, I have no music ability, but I'm a huge music fan. I run to it every day. Like that's my
I don't think I would say these are my favorite records or the best records I've heard in my lifetime, but I would say the ones that are the most influential. I would have to say Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction.
Yeah, all right. That's not a bad one.
I would say Stone Temple Pilots, Core. It's a big one for me.
That's our first one, right? Or Plush. Was Plush our
That's
first
on Plush is on that one. I would say Radiohead, OK Computer.
Oh, yeah.
I would say Beck, Odelay.
Oh, Beck is so underrated. Beck, all his albums are different too on top of it.
He's one of the most talented musicians of my lifetime. And you know, I would say he's underappreciated or underrated. I mean, he won Album of the Year a few years ago for an album that he shouldn't have won for. But
what album won it?
What album of his should have won it?
Did Guerrero win Album of the Year?
No, Guerrero. No, it was Morning Phase or Morning View or whatever. The acoustic record that came out in 2012.
All right,
or 2013.
It's the one with him in a black hat.
It was during his Amish dressing phase.
Yeah. All right,
no,
I have that album. You know what? That wasn't one of my favorite albums of his, but
I liked it a lot. I don't think it was better than Sea Change. He should have won it for Sea Change.
Sea Change is so good, man.
Sea Change is one of the best.
He must have been going through a breakup because they're all like sad.
It's a breakup record. Yeah, it's the story of it.
And didn't he marry like Giovanni Ribisi's?
Yep, Giovanni Ribisi's sister. I had a credit card denied right in front of Giovanni Ribisi. Twice.
She broke.
Run it again. I was like, run it again. I was like, I would even look over at his table and be like, I just sold a TV show. This is gonna, and they'd be like, no. And I'm like, it's so you try to look cool in front of Giovanni Ribisi.
Oh, this is in front of him, not his sister. This is in front of him.
No, I've never met his sister.
Oh.
I did meet Beck,
but that
twice.
was Beck's wife for a while. Dude, you got to meet Beck. That's freaking awesome. What do you play? What's your go-to instrument? I see you like you have guitars and everything.
I my voice is probably my best instrument. Because I've been singing my whole life. I would have in order underneath. I would say I'm really good at drums. I just don't play
everything.
I can figure it out. I am a C- at every instrument, including like violins or flutes or pick. Just give me an hour with it, and I'll start being able to make a noise, and then I'll start being able to find the chords. I just need somebody to show me. Oh, this is how you work it. You blow into it like this. You lick this. And that's why saxophone is such a fucking weird instrument. It's like before they play it, they gotta go. I'm gonna do it on stage. That's funny. Doing it tonight.
There you go, man. So all right. So we got
drums, guitar, bass, drums, guitar and bass are basically the same. Piano. I started learning how to play on a trumpet or cornet. And then just start like, I don't know, like I'll figure it out. It's like this is why. To answer the question about the jam and why I sing on stage, because that's who I am.
Right.
I'm not doing it to show off.
No,
I'm not doing it as an act. I'm doing it because
it comes
like
I
start my sets now. I started watching what Sean Patton does on stage, which is he almost like digs himself in a hole by being present. It's a way of making him present. He just doesn't do a joke right away. He just talks. and sometimes talks to the audience and says something that might make people go, ugh, or whatever, but he digs out of it and he's brilliant.
Yeah.
I learned from that. And I said, because
by the way, message to new comics, don't do that unless you have something in your back pocket that you know you can get out of. Do you give you got to have jokes in your back pocket. There's something like building a hole. Like when you're doing it a while and you know you're going to be up there a while, you always got something in your back pocket where you're like, all right, I'm going to get out of it. Like, I got but like a lot of new comics like don't have that in their back pocket yet. And
they're just new. They don't have any material. For me, and that's the reason I moved out here, like I said, was that I reached this place and I was like, I want to grow. I want to reach my potential. I know how great I am. And that's not saying I'm going to be the biggest comic alive. I just know what I'm capable
I hear you.
Of doing.
Yeah.
It's more of a self-fulfilling prophecy that's like, I know that I can do this. So if I stay in LA, I will be stuck at the mercy of the industry to give me the power to do the things that I want to do. And I'm like, fuck that, man. I want to grow, I want to grow, I want to grow. They already know me in LA. Everybody knows who I am. I can move out to New York and go back to LA and do the jam, and it's awesome and make money and make bread. Boom. But in New York, it's not like I'm starting over. I'm walking into a perfect situation. All the clubs know who I am. They all fuck with me. So I was like, yeah, it's time to move out. And what I did was, as I got out here, I started noticing like what really worked for me. And what I do in the jam is great. Nobody can do what I do. Like, you gotta stop it. Is there a ball back there or something that she's like going after?
That might be my.
She's gonna keep doing it. Hold on.
All right.
Just pause. Sorry. I said I want to reach my potential. This is what I want to do. And
is it recording? All right.
And so I came out here. I noticed there's nobody that has energy out here, like nobody. And I was like, oh my, all right. So I'll already stick out. And I said what I do in the jam, as I kept doing the jam more and more, because I almost stopped doing it before the pandemic and just doing it at festivals. But it just started, people started like, oh, we want to see it. It's a perfect show now. Everybody wants to go out and party. And I was like, okay. And then I just started kind of taking what I do at the beginning of the goddamn comedy jam, which is why the show is good, and started applying that to my stand-up. And now it's just a streaming thing where it's like, I don't need a band. I don't need anybody. If I have a band, awesome. If I don't, I can still do my set and I can still make up songs and I can still do everything I do and sing and just have fun and go in and out of that of jokes. And that is who I am. It's like, I wanted to craft, and I'm almost there, almost ready to, like I'm not gonna do Edinburgh this year, but I think next year I'm gonna do it, and then I'm gonna record a special immediately after, because New York has given me the chops to not just believe in myself, but to know how I'm good and what I'm good at doing that no one else can do. And it's exciting, and I love it out here, and I respect the comics, and I respect the craft of stand-up comedy. Regardless, it's like there's people I know watch me and they're like, this guy's doing the singing. I go, yeah, but that's who the fuck I am. You're still doing the same shit that everybody else does. I'm being true to me, and I don't give a fuck. Are you paying my bills? Yeah. No, the fucking society is. My fans are paying my bills, and that's what I want. And I'm a fucking pubic hair away from figuring it out. And once I do, God, I'm going to be old. That sucks, man. Why couldn't I figure it out in my early 30s?
Like, there's not really, especially now, like, there's not really an industry. We're our own gatekeepers now.
Yeah, but man, it would have been fun to be where I'm at right now in my early 30s. Single, no, only
what's going on?
Only 70% gray hair.
What's going on in relationship with you right now?
The dating?
Yeah.
We're all over the place. Tell me, how'd your dad treat you? What's your relationship with like Aunt Shirley? So
this is my interview. It's on my interview style, Josh.
So I date. I did a lot.
Would you Bumble?
No, I do Raya.
Raya,
it's the celebrity Tinder. It's like exclusive.
I haven't got invited.
Model,
yeah,
it's good. It's good.
Oh, Jesus.
Not in those sweatpants, dude. You are wearing straight strip club cum pants now. Those are the pants that you wear, no underwear. You go into the strip club, you get a dry hump, you come in them, and then you go home, you take another pair, and you change.
Well,
them
you
in
are
the,
wearing
in the park.
Rockstar pants.
These aren't rocks. These are my existential breakthrough.
No,
pants.
that looks like something that like Chris Robinson would wear. Those pants,
These,
which is
you
a
want to
compliment.
hear a funny story, right?
Yeah,
These pants are actually more important than just like notice that like how much you see all the stitching.
Yeah,
this is because I've worn these to the point where they've fallen apart. I bought these. So my first booked stand-up show in Los Angeles was at a place called Sardo's. It's in Burbank. It's famous because it has this thing called porn star karaoke.
There you go.
I sound like I'm from Philly. Porn star karaoke. Karaoke. We're gonna do some karaoke. So I'm excited.
Right.
Remember the headliner was Ben Morrison. I'm like, all right. So nothing against you, Ben, if you're listening. I doubt it, but
I don't know who Ben Morrison is.
Don't worry about it. Just don't tag him.
Or
tag him. I don't give a fuck. So somebody's now gonna fucking tag him, be like, so I booked the show. I got my Jeep. I think I got the Verizon came out with like a first generation iPhone, but it wasn't an iPhone. It was like their idea of what the iPhone is, but it had nothing to do. Like it wasn't the functionality. It was nothing like the iPhone, but it was big, bulbous. You had a TV antenna on it. There's that indigestion. So I booked on the show. Fuck, I thought this forever. And I don't drink at the time. I wasn't drinking, but I would have slip ups.
What's a slip up mean?
Just like I stopped drinking regularly December 8th, 2006.
All right.
Because that was when I got my last DUI.
All right.
And I haven't drank regularly since. And when I say I stopped drinking, that was when I stopped drinking. Have I had, because what I used to do is one night a year, I would go to Venice, California and do as much coke and drink and do any drug I could get my hands on over one night, but away from comedy. It worked, dude. It worked.
Hunter S. Thompson night?
Yeah, because
on his birthday?
got it out of my system. And I was smart enough to know that alcohol and cocaine means I have no career. It means it will go. I will piss people off. I will be loud. I will be obnoxious. I try to help comics. There are comics out here that I think are really funny that are drinking themselves and partying themselves out of being successful because no one wants to work. Especially, dude. Listen,
talking to Jeremy, who's producing right there. You hear this?
This guy, he looks like Davey Martinez, a guy that I used
Jeremy
to. I emceed over drum and bass for. Solid dude. No, but I realized very quickly that I won't have friends if I drink. I drink and I do it to excess and I do coke because I'll black out. And so it would just dude, it was just the worst. So what I would do is I would do these nights once in a while where I would drink. And I mean, very once in a while. And most of the time I would go to Venice away from everybody. But on this night, I was just nervous. I wasn't funny for a while. I would have flashes of it, which I'll get to because I'll tell you, like I had the first club show I ever did was at the Hollywood Improv. I was about 2 months into stand-up and it was called the Best of the Open Mic. And the lineup are all people that are working today. Angelo Gerard, Byron Bowers, me, Tony Hinchcliffe, Jade Catapretta. I think I actually still have the flyer for it. And Rita, the booker, kind of picked us all out. Oh, Yasser Lester, who's on like a million TV shows now, writing a fucking Marvel series. These are all my friends that I started with, and we all had this show. And it was a sold-out crowd on a Sunday night at the Hollywood Improv, and everybody bombed, except for me. But I was loaded on Vicodin. I was like, I think I had taken 25, 26 Vicodin ES that day, and I just killed. And all the comics who were like sleeping on me before, like, oh, yeah, Josh. I mean, I get he's good looking, he's got energy, but he's not funny. And then, they were all like, oh yeah, you can do this. We see it now. But then that made me feel like I needed that crutch of opiates, which I did for many, many years. But with alcohol and cocaine, back to this story, this is like, the first book show I've ever been booked on ever. That's not true. I just realized, all right, so I moved to Los Angeles about a month out into LA, and I'm drinking and doing coke at this place called Birds with this dude. And the dude's like, you're funny. And I'm like, oh, thanks, man. And I'm like, I'm a comic. He goes, oh, really? He goes, well, I produce a show at Tangiers. Do you want to headline it? He's like, you're funny. Pay you $150, do a half hour. I was like, done. Dude, yeah. I had no material. I had nothing. I had nothing. like haven't been going up anything. Day of the show, I write down some things and I go to the show and I started. There was a moment of 2 months when I moved to LA that I did drink. And I just started pounding alcohol. I invited a bunch of people to come, like my cousin, his friend, his girlfriend, a guy I worked with, and a girl that I went to college with that was out in LA. And dude, I bombed. I think I did 3 minutes. And then I walked off stage. It was so bad.
Wow.
It was so bad. So that was actually the first book show, but I don't count that because this is now I'm a comic doing Sardos. Like now I've dedicated my life to it. This is what I'm doing.
You really got off stage after 3 minutes?
I think maybe 3 or 5. I don't know. Like,
you were like, this isn't going well.
Bad sweat. Funny thing about that.
But then again, you never really did comedy before. So like you had nothing.
I had done a couple open mics, but here's the thing is that I was doing so bad. I remember it was completely dark except for one row of people. And that was the row of people that I brought. And I just remember seeing my cousin's face like it was bad. And so I'm booked at Sardo's and I go there and I start getting nervous. It's a packed house, not a lot of people, maybe 50, 60 people. And so I start drinking some whiskey and then I black out and I wake up the next morning and I'm in the apartment I was staying at. This is like August, September. And I have no phone. I have my car keys, but I don't have my car. It's all fucked up. And so I had to go back. And from what I found out was that they tried to stop me from driving. And I just was like, all right, fine, I'll walk home. And then I ran back and like grabbed my car. It was like a whole ordeal. But when I was getting ready for the show, the day of the show, I went out and I bought these pants.
Okay.
Because I wanted to have some new clothes, I guess, or look cool.
Those are cool pants.
So
they are cool pants.
So I wore them a little bit and then I stopped wearing them. And then when I did my New Faces showcase, Just for Laughs in 2013, I wore these. I used to wear them for a moment, like still on stage. Now, once again, I like put them away for a while. Then I went through a midlife crisis at 38 where I was just like, why am I unhappy? Why aren't I
go through this every morning, by the way. It's my everyday.
I've worked past it now, but that was the beginning of it. And I remember I was like, I just want to feel every day. That's why I started the podcast, because like I want to be moved by art every day. I was like, I just want to be comfortable. And I saw those pants and I was like, I'm wearing these pants all the time now. And I just wore them and wore them. I really won't wear them on stage so much, but as soon as I got home, I put them on. As soon as I fucking woke up or took the dog out, I put them on. They just became my like comfy existential crisis, Morgan Murphy style pants. And now, I mean, they have fallen apart. Like I barely wear them now.
I like them, man. I used to have a pair of Express jeans like that. And then when, I mean, I had my own health issues and I somehow lost them like a couple years ago. But they were my fear. I would always just keep patching them up.
Take a guess.
For like 8 years.
Take a guess how much money I've put into these pants.
No, the same way I would say with my pants. I probably paid more money in getting them patched up when they would rip than they actually cost.
Take a guess.
I'll say $300.
I'd say $2,500.
Wow.
I mean, look at all the stitching.
Yeah.
This isn't like one thing. This was like going back to Denim Repair. There's a place in LA called, not Denim Doctors, but they do really great work. And just, I mean, she even said to me, she's like, Josh, like you're just burning money on these. They're going to fall. Let me make you a pair. Like we'll find the fabric. I'll make these for you. And I'm like, nope, gotta be these. And that's the story of the pants of love.
Yeah. All right. You're from DC. I see you have your the Washington Bullets tattoo. Washington Bullets and Baltimore Orioles.
I love Maryland. I love where I'm from.
So you still go with Orioles over the DC baseball team? Oh, you got the Washington Senators.
Nationals.
Nationals. Yeah. Why did they not call them the fucking Senators?
I like the Nationals.
But the Senators were like
that's an old team that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
so
but they're back.
That's not their history.
If Montreal gets a team again, it's got to be the Expos.
Montreal will never get a baseball team again. It failed miserably. They you know that the story behind them was that the league had to support them for like 15 years. They didn't make enough money. So that was the big deal. We were trying to get him to DC, and that one fucking congresswoman, the state congresswoman for the District of Columbia, was like stopping it because Peter Angelos from the Orioles was like, if it's gonna fuck with my money and blah 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 blah, because they're 30 miles away. And then eventually, I think it was just the mayor was like, we're fucking doing it. The league basically paid DC and was like, we'll supplement it where the Orioles would get more money in television rights or whatever, but the league will supplement. It was a really good deal made by commissioner. And
so they're both in the World Series. Who you got, the O's or Nationals?
I think because the Nationals already have one, I would say the Orioles. I would love to see the Orioles win one in my lifetime. They did in '83, but I was too young to really appreciate it.
And who's your all-time favorite player
for baseball? Baseball is Cal Ripken
That's
Jr.
what I got.
He's one of the greatest, the Iron Man. The Nationals, it's between, I'd say, Soto or Scherzer. I love Max Scherzer.
Oh, he's a psychopath out there.
Yeah, he's one of the best pitchers that ever played the game. It was 2009. Are you a baseball fan?
Yeah.
So I go to a lot of things by myself.
Me too. I go to concerts by myself. I'll go to games by myself.
We talked about that.
Yeah, I like doing it because it's like we could talk later. I'm just gonna jam out.
So in 2019 when they were in the AL the playoffs, like they were playing the Dodgers in the second round, best of 5 series, and I'm just like, I'm gonna go. So I go to game 1. We lose like 8-2. And I'm like, all right, well, this happens every time they play the Dodgers in the playoffs, which I've been to a couple games. And I was like, they're just going to lose. And then and I'm watching the game still, but next thing I know, it's tied 2-2 for a game 5. And so I'm like, I'm going by myself, game 5. And I wear my fucking Nationals red hat, and I always get good seats, and I'm sitting like lower level, like third baseline. And I park my car and everybody's shitting on me. They're not being like assholes and like trying to fight me. They're just being like, you're going down tonight, bro. Like, fucking Dodgers, man. We got you. I'm like, all right, yeah, probably. And the game goes on and we're down a few runs. And then in the 8th, Soto or Anthony Rendon hits a home run, and then I say out loud, I go, I bet Soto is going to hit a home run back to back, and then he hits a home run and the game's tied. I'm so excited. And then we get to the 10th inning and Howie Kendrick hits this fucking just dead center home run, blast it, grand slam, and immediately all the fans start leaving. And I'm just like, I mean, I show respect for the Dodgers by not being like, fuck all y'all. And like, but I was like holding in tears. It's still to this day, out of any sporting event I've ever been to, it was one of the most magical things I've ever seen in my life. And then we went on to win the World Series, and it was such a fun run. Just like when the Caps won, like I feel it. I love the area. I love the people. You know, there's a lot of money in Montgomery County, Maryland, and in Maryland and DC and Virginia, but there's also a lot of middle-class people whose lives have no real point. So
he's talking about the politicians.
Sports is very big for those people. And so it was, it was good to see them win.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Like, I'm from Cleveland. I always root for obviously Cleveland sports teams are my teams. That was so last year I was just doing when the pandemic, last baseball season, this is like last April, and I just happened to have an off night, and there's a Kansas City and the Indians. They were the Indians last year, where they have a day game. So I go to the day game, and I'm looking for other people in Cleveland shirts, and there's nobody there because it's during the pandemic. There's nobody else really there. So I'm just like talking with the Royals fans, and I'm giving them playful shit because we're losing like 5-0 in the second inning. And they're like a small market team. And I'm like making fun of their outfield, like they're left. Like, see, if you didn't spend $15 million on that waterfall in left field, you could have a actual left fielder out there. You can, just fun ribbing. They're laughing. They're having good times. But then the Indians come back and win. And then I'm like, I didn't know we were going to win. I was like, just good natured joshing. And then they ended up hating me, which understandable. But it was like, I didn't think we were going to win. But the dude pitching for the Indians was Sean Henniges. And the only people I saw wearing Indian stuff I just saw like a few people, and it was his family. I ended up hanging out with his family. Sean Hennigan's his family. They're all, and when you're a minor league pitcher coming up and down, they change your number like every time. So one of them had like a it's on my Instagram. One of them had like 52 Hennigan's jersey, another one 75 Hennigan's jersey, another because they change their number when they come up and down when they don't have a secure roster.
Can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Do you shave every day?
Yes.
Fuck. I don't even know how long it's been since I've taken a razor to my face.
Oh, why do you ask that?
Because you are fucking. I could smack you right now, and it would be a perfect. Like,
yeah, I hate facial. Like, I also don't like hair. I have a full head of hair. I'm the only one that doesn't like hair, and I have it's like yes.
Why?
I don't know. Well, I don't know how to style the hair. Pretty much.
Go to a stylist. How old are you?
I'm 46.
You're 46.
Yeah.
You have a full head of hair. Looks thick.
This thick.
You know how many people would fucking die to have that?
Yeah. I'm a handsome guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fucking show it off, dude. Look how you look on. You look great on camera.
There we go. Oh, I hear that. See, I might be able to get on Riot. Right.
Riot.
Subscribe to this podcast. I need some more subscribers. I'm going to get me on Riot so I can.
Raya, not Riot. Raya. Raya.
Raya.
Yeah, dude. It's like celebrities.
I like how like I'm going to try to get down there and they're like, no. How do they verify you to make sure
you have to apply for it? Where it's like you. Ooh, that was gonna be good. It's like so you look. So it's like it's just like hot women and good looking guys. It's like celebrities.
Are some of the guys so good looking? You're like, all right, I'm
it's
not
all
gay,
like models. It's like models, you know.
Jesus, all right.
Yeah, this good.
Wow.
A lot of them don't hit you back, but I've done okay.
They don't do that. They don't hit me back on Tinder or Bumble either. So,
well, I
get that on the regular.
I think for Raya, some people just have it just because it's like I've got a Raya. I actually want to meet somebody. I don't know. Like I date because I'm trying to find somebody.
Right. No, me too. I don't like to fuck around. I don't do one night stands. Oh, you don't mind fucking around?
I enjoy one night stands, but you know, the initial intent of the date is not to be a one night stand. It's like I want to meet this person, get to know them, and we're attracted to one another. And then we're like, all right, well, we're attracted to one another, but I don't see anything. But if they're still consenting and we have a vibe, yeah, I'll have sex with you. I mean, why wouldn't we? It's like I feel like we should be fucking way more often than we do, because eventually, when you're in your, you're like I always say this, like your 20s are for drugs and fucking as much as you can do.
He should be a guidance counselor. I already
30s, your 30s are for drugs and fucking and work, but a little bit less drugs and fucking. You got to get responsible. And then your 40s are to look back and be like, man, I wish I could do drugs and fuck again.
But I mean, we're still able, like, I don't feel different than I did when I was like 30. Like I still,
I know you look mentally. I feel I see a difference in how I feel and how I view things and what I care about and what I let bother me. I still have the same mentality as I did when I was in my teens. I'm still have a very youthful spirit, and I'm very childish, and I've never lost that, because it's a beautiful thing that is like when your consciousness has dropped all the baggage before baggage was even picked up, and you're just like, this is great, and a dog and a chair and a this, you're just, it's so great, and music. I'm able to keep that, because that is when you become old, when you can't keep that twinkle. And the twinkle is very important to me.
I think just saying twinkle makes you old. I think
it makes you young.
Oh, to say
I think
twinkle?
Twinkle goes the other way. If you're saying twinkle, that's like, it's a beautiful, fun, cute word. Like when you stop using words like twinkle, then you're fucking old. Then you're old.
Someone said it yesterday. I don't know. It might have been talking with you, and just like when you're dating a bunch of people, like, oh, I got them in my Rolodex. Like anyone that uses Rolodex is just like an old timey. It's like an old timey term. Like, even though like we all know what they are. By the way, we're on house money. We can wrap up whenever.
Well, what time is it? Because I got something at
Jeremy, what do you got there? What's
12? I got something at 1, so I got to eat soon. So let's start.
Wrapping cool, up, man. Well, first of all, plug all your social media stuff. Where can people find you and stuff?
At Josh Adam Meyers on all social media. dude, I'm killing it on TikTok right now. I it's crazy. Like, I've got a couple videos that are like 500,000 views.
Jesus.
It's crazy. It's the Wild
That's
West.
how you get
that.
on Raya Yar. That's how you get on Raya Yar.
But you, on all social media at Josh Adam Meyers, go to joshadammeyers.com for tickets. Listen to my podcast, The 500. I'm on the Bonfire, just a bunch of shit, man. Just, just follow me on social media. A lot of cool shit's coming up.
By the way, how cool is Soder and Big J?
They're the best.
They're like, there's some like Big J who's coming to Cleveland, and so I was like, yeah, I'll open up for it. He's like, yeah. And then he's like, yeah, just take a look at my website. Let me know. And I was like, geez, thank you, man. Like,
we're going to see Coldplay on Sunday.
Dude, I love Coldplay. Yeah.
I'm so excited, dude. It's gonna be the most magical concert I've ever been to.
So you're going with people? You're not going
I'm
alone?
going with Jay. Yeah.
Right.
Well, mostly because I need to ride to MetLife. I'd go by myself. I'd go by myself, but I don't want to pay $150 for an Uber.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's there. Look, we're gonna take mushrooms. It's gonna be beautiful. Like, Jay's fun to go to concerts with. We go to concerts all the time.
Big J's fun to do anything with. Are you kidding?
Not everything.
Not everything. All right.
You know, but yes, a lot of stuff.
Oh.
Like, he's the best. He's one of my best friends, and I love him to death. But like, we both love Coldplay, and we were talking about it. And I think it was like a couple of days ago. I was just like, I think Coldplay's coming this week. Are we going? And he was just like, look for tickets, and and he likes good seats too. So, I'm excited. I'm stoked. I wish this concert took place 10 years ago, though.
What's your favorite Coldplay song?
Oh, Fix You.
All right.
I can listen.
I'm going to run to that on the treadmill because of you.
It's kind of sad.
No, I'm fine with it. I like, I'll listen to like Sappy Dylan songs when I run. Just any song that you can feel.
It'll make me cry. It's like the second half of that song. Tears stream down your face when you lose something. It's just so beautiful.
All right, give me 4 other songs. You don't got to go into detail, but 4 other songs that are
Coldplay.
Some of the most meaningful songs that you listen to, like right now.
Stardust by Nat King Cole.
Stardust
is my favorite song of all time. In a Sentimental Mood by John Coltrane and Duke Ellington is another one of my favorite songs of all time. Will bring me to tears. There's it's not one of my favorites, but I cry and like cry when I listen to it. It's Vincent by Don McLean.
Okay.
It's one that's like starry nights, raindrops. It's such a beautiful song. Makes me think of people that I love that passed away. And is there one more? I think it's
it could be any genre. How about a country music song?
And then
I
love Jambalaya by Hank Williams, but that one doesn't make me cry. But Coal Miner's Daughter made me cry by Loretta Lynn. But Otis Redding, I've Been Loving You Too Long. I mean, that's the live version of that from his CD, Whiskey Go-Go Live at the Whiskey from like 67 is just, or 66 is like, I mean, so powerful.
Speaking of Otis Redding, the most disturbing thing in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is they have the plane wreckage.
Do they really?
Yeah, that he crashed it. It's just like the wing because it says like Otis Redding on the wing.
A tragic story, man. Really tragic. He died and then Sitting on the Dock of the Bay came out like 4 days later and it was a fucking massive hit. It's right there.
There you go. Same thing with Sublime. I mean, I know some people like to shit on Sublime. I like Sublime. Why they get
white
so much
reggae is an epidemic. It needs to be stopped.
I like Sublime. I'm sorry.
No, dude. I just posted that clip. I say this on stage. It's one of the worst things. It's worse than coronavirus. It's done more
Limp
damage.
Bizkit or
it's done
Sublime?
more damage to our economy.
Kid Rock or Sublime?
Than fracking. It's the fracking of music. It's so bad for the people, and the fact that
so you're happy he's gone.
I just never liked. I had friends that loved 311, Sublime, like Slightly Stupid, Rebulation, all those shitty white reggae bands, and I just hate it. I just don't like it.
All right. No, I hear you. I get it, but yeah, I feel the same way.
You can't even debate me on it.
All right. No, you know music better than I do.
He turned into Joe Biden. He was like, come on, man.
All
right. Ready? I gotta eat lunch.
You're the man. No,
you're the man, Ray. I love you.
I love you too, buddy. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me, man. I mean it. To all the people out there, this fucking guy, it's tweet at him. Take your hat off.
There we go. Check that out.
Not right now. Do your hair. Put some gel in it.
I'm
Some mousse.
I'm coming for your rah-rah.
Put some mousse. Put some mousse in it. Lecca, you want to get in here? Come here. Come here. Right here.
What's up, the buddies?
Come here.
Signing off.
Sit.
What's
Sit.
up? Showing them the face. Oh.
Look, she's got 2 balls in her mouth.
Oh, Jeremy's had that done before.
Nice.
Oh.
Oh.